When Oscar and Gavin first met, they lived in different states, and Oscar was very clear they were not going to be a couple because they didn't live near enough to one another, and Oscar wasn't in it for a long distance relationship. He was surprised when Gavin moved to Chicago. They met, and the sparks flew instantly. Conversations happened pretty early about creating a family, and they embarked upon creating a family that was biologically connected to them. How they went about creating the family that they now have with 2 children, and they're not done yet, is beautiful. And you get to hear all about it on today's episode. Welcome to the Becoming Baby Ready podcast, your podcast for queer family planning. My name is Sam, and throughout this podcast, you'll hear me have conversations with professionals who work alongside people who want to start and grow their families, as well as parents of intentionally created families. Everyone I speak to identifies as being part of the 2S LGBTQIA+ community. This is your opportunity to learn answers to questions you didn't even know you had. Welcome, everyone. Today I have the distinct pleasure of chatting with Oscar. Oscar, welcome to the show. Please tell my listeners who you are and about the members of your family.
Well, thank you so much for having us. This is a cross country. It goes from Canada to Chicago, so very excited to do this. And like you mentioned, I'm Oscar, and I have 2 lovely babies, one 4 and one 9. Sorry, one 5 and one 9, and my lovely husband, which is at work right now.
As that gives us the privacy to do this, right?
If exactly, somebody has to do it.
Right. Exactly. Tell me about how you and your husband met. What's your husband's name?
He's Gavin.
Excellent.
Yeah.
How did you and Gavin meet?
So we met a couple of years now. Well, a lot of years now. He used to live in Indiana, going to school there in Notre Dame, and that school is in a different state where I live. So when we start chatting in a website called Hinge, I don't think that even exists anymore.
I have no idea. It's been a while.
Been a while. I told Gavin when I realized that he was in Indiana, I'm like, we're in a different time zone. You let me know when you move to my time zone, which it was a very bold move for me to say, but I'm like, I'm not going to start dating somebody long distance, period. Right. That's just not my cup of tea. And then who knew? Like I move on, and then he texted me. It's like, I moved to Chicago. And I was like, whoa, what? It's like, yeah, I'm here in Chicago. So we met just as friends, nothing looking to change nothing. I'm like, okay, well, he's new to the city and I've been here for a little while. Might as well just get to know him. And the moment that we met, it was just like something kicking both of us. And we've been together ever since. And that was in 2016. So it's been a little while now.
Wow. And yeah, that has been. Yeah, 10 years. Yikes.
Yeah, 10 years together, 5 married. He proposed to me in 2019, and then COVID happened. So you can only imagine how the wedding celebration went.
Yes, not exactly as you'd planned.
Not at all. Not at all.
When in your 10 years of being together, your children aren't brand new, but when in your conversations when you're first together, did the idea of children come up?
I think when Gavin and I started dating early on, when we were like talking on the phone without me knowing that he was in Indiana,
right?
We mentioned that we wanted a kids. That was like something that connected the 2 of us beautifully. And he wanted 7 kids, and I'm like, well, I don't know about 7.
Let's start with 1.
Let's start with 1 and we see.
Yeah.
But then a happy number that he kept mentioning is 4 and is 4. And we just had technically twins right now. And he kept mentioning, when are we going to have the other 2? So I'm like, I don't know, just take a pause. I know that we're not getting any younger, but yeah, so early on. And I think that's something that people should talk about early on in their relationship, because often than not, people do not talk about this. And then there is a misunderstanding. I know a couple that she wanted to have kids, and her husband is like, I'm not going to have kids. Not because they don't love each other. It's just that he never imagined being parents. And this is a straight couple.
Right.
And I think even with the gay community, should be even more talked because many of us do want to have kids. They just don't know where to start.
Yeah. Yeah, which is ultimately the purpose of this show. And you're right. I mean, you have ultimately twins, a 5-month-old and a 9-month-old. You've got two babies that are all hands on all day. So I don't blame you for deciding, could we just take a beat before we start looking at when we're having any more children? We need to figure out how to parent the two that we've got.
And the crazy part is, I know me and I know my husband, if we do decide to move forward with four, it's going to be another set of twins. So it will be
Yeah.
like done and done. So it's
Yeah.
like ripping the band-aid twice and
Right.
that's it instead of four times.
I'm going to get to how you created your twins that are only a few months apart in just a moment. But first, I want to spend just a moment talking about some of the decision-making process because the reality is that within the queer community, we have the opportunity to look at how we're going to create our families in a variety of different ways. The
Hmm.
two of you chose to use surrogacy. How did you come to that decision over using a, an adoption agency or fostering or something like that? What was it about surrogacy? Was it about the biologic connection or?
So, a great question. We talked about that early on. We talked about all the different scenarios. I do know of some cases that they had adopted kids, and then for whatever reason, the kids were not, no, they were fostering kids, not adopting. They were fostering the kids. And then when they were in love with the kids, like I think they were together for like 4 years, they unfortunately they went back to their parents,
Right,
their biological parents. So that was like a toll. When they were under the impression that this could be a possibility, but it was also a big possibility of them to adopt them.
right.
So that automatically, I'm like, I know, like I told you earlier, like when Gavin was in Indiana, I'm like, I am not touchy feeling person.
Hmm.
And I knew that if I start fostering some kids and we might still do this in the future, maybe the two that will come might be
Sure,
fosters.
sure.
Um, um, I knew that that was not the right choice for us, just for that one fear of the fostering either going back to their parents or then that red tape would take them away for whatever reason.
Right.
And I knew that that was not an option. We're thinking also maybe in the future, maybe we can adopt,
Hmm.
but we start romancing the idea. Oh, how about a little Oscar, a little Gavin,
Hmm.
biologically? And
Yeah.
then we just start joking with the name Sarah, which I will explain to you really quick. The name Sarah, we start saying it's like, oh, that's Sarah. Oh, Sarah cannot be doing this. That's how we name our fake children at the moment.
Right.
And then Gavin and I were watching an episode of Family Guy where they said like, "Who let you in instead of a house, Meg?" And I'm like, "Oh my God, that's gonna be you telling Sarah." So we cannot use that name anymore because we start picturing Meg being our little Sarah, which is not a good thing, but it was an inside joke that we had for many years. And and yeah, so that's how I took over the idea of doing surrogacy and
Mhm.
how we can have a little piece of us be with us as
Right.
well. And not that adopted or surrogate, sorry, not that an adopted kid could be a little part of you, but we
Right.
just, I don't know, we start visualizing um, a little bit of us.
And there's in my opinion, there is never any judgment about how a couple or an individual chooses to create the family that they have. It is curious always to me because we have those options available to us. And like you say, you have had the opportunity to create children who are biologically connected to you, but your family's not complete. You're very clear together that your family's not complete. So there are still doors open about different ways that you may decide to continue to grow your family. It's it's again, it's the opportunity that presents to us as we're on our family creation pathway because we're
Yeah.
not expected to create children who are always biologically connected to us in the same way that it is expected within the cisgendered heterosexual community, right?
Hmm. And we, like I mentioned earlier, we are in the future, maybe we adopt, and not necessarily babies. We have talked maybe adopting teenagers or somebody that really need some guidance or some structure.
Yeah.
Um, So yeah, so that's something that we have thought about it, and it's not out of the question.
Mhm.
Fostering, the most I want to foster a kid is just I know it's not going to be the right path for us for many reasons, like I mentioned earlier.
Right, right.
Um,
That makes
but yeah.
sense. That's and and I've mentioned it on episodes before. My wife's grandmother was a foster parent and had many, many, many children through her home when my mother-in-law was much younger. And I just have such a respect for that because I don't
Mhm.
know that I have the capacity to do that.
Yeah,
I think it's so
I'm with you.
selfless.
Yeah, I'm with you, and I know that I already know that. It's like when you see blood and you're like, okay, I will never be a doctor because you don't like blood.
Yes.
That's how I feel about it. It's like I respect so much every time that I see a person that is fostering
Hmm.
kids. It's just I know it would not be the right thing for me. I just know in my gut.
Right. And
Because
and
I would just be so much. You already have fear when you have kids that they
yes.
fall and break teeth or something.
Yeah.
Imagine having the fear that they're going to be taken away from you because they have all the right to. Because
Yeah.
once again, when you're fostering, it's not necessarily part of your forever family, if we can call it that.
Right.
So yeah,
And if they can go back to their biologic parents and the environment there is safe for them to do that, you want them to have that opportunity to
correct,
have that connection too. So it's not that you begrudge the whole system. It's
correct,
just not for your heart.
correct.
Yeah.
I'll be too worried all the time about it, but
Yeah.
nah, I think it's a lovely and like you mentioned, very selfless thing to do.
Yeah. So you and Gavin decide you're going to create a family. You're going to go through the process of surrogacy. Now you have to find someone with whom to create embryos. So how did you go about that? Did you pick an agency and then through them you found an egg donor and a surrogate? Did you find an egg donor through an egg donor agency and then move into finding a surrogacy agency? And did you do this all in the US?
So we originally were thinking of a family member.
Hmm.
My lovely mother, she actually mentioned that she could be the egg donor. Um, my mom was at that time a little younger, 10 years younger almost.
Hmm.
So she was able to do that. And then I'm like, okay, I don't know if I want to have my son or daughter to be also my brother, sister, which once again is a modern family. And
Sure.
but and that would have been great. But then I was like, I don't know if I want to do that. We talked
Hmm.
about family members like cousins that could have done it as well.
Hmm.
And we just decided, Gavin being a lawyer, that's what he does professionally. We decided that the best option would be going to an agency,
Hmm.
which we interview a lot of different agencies in the States and also in Mexico.
Right.
And we opted with one agency that we liked in the States that for us was the perfect fit at the moment.
Hmm.
And then it was taking so long for us to get to the final product of the baby, like being with our kids, that we signed up with another agency, which was our second top choice, and that's how we came out to have technically twins.
Right.
Um, so that's how we came to that. We ended up signing up with the agency. We looked at different persons that were trying to do the donation of the eggs.
Hmm.
And we saw this girl that is half British and half Cuban.
Hmm.
Dominican from the Dominican Republic originally, and she kind of looked like Gavin and I.
Oh,
So when you looked at her, we saw like, oh my gosh, she looked like if we had a kid, if we were a straight couple
hmm.
having kids, she would look like our kid.
Right.
And then we decided to go with her. With that said, we went to different ones that the doctors rejected, which is something that also people don't think about because you think that you're going to like this person and
Hmm.
then it does it. We sent like three different girls that adopted the doctor rejected for whatever reason, either genetic mutations that could happen with one of us,
Right.
and things like that. So they were discarded. And then when we totally find her, I think she was just waiting for us and for us to be united. We
Yes.
saw her and said she looks like the two of us. Might as well just try her. No hopes anymore because having all these problems
Yep.
come alone.
Yep.
And she was green and then green and green and green. And then poof, we did the donation twice. because we knew that we wanted our kids to be at least half siblings. So
Right.
our kids are technically, biologically, half siblings.
Right.
And then you go to the surrogate side, which is another ball of things because we like this girl, but she was too far away from a hospital.
Oh.
And the doctor rejected her. Then somebody else that was a little bit, and I don't call this old, but it was like 31, and the doctor unfortunately said she's too
Oh.
old the way she wants to work. With we work with Dr. Feinberg here in Chicago, which she's like, not apparently, she is like one of the best doctors in the industry. We did not know that she was who she was when we signed up with her. We just got
Right.
very lucky.
Right.
And with that, she is very picky of who she uses with. And then we found a lovely surrogate here in Chicago that live in the suburbs, not necessarily in the city. And he was perfect. I guess he was just waiting for us, because he was close to us here in the city, and in the same state. The doctor liked her, and she is one of the most lovely people I have met in my life. She's just so kind and noble. And I think you need to, I feel that some of the surrogate, they have to be that way, because what a beautiful gift of,
Mhm.
letting you use their oven to cook a little something there for you, and then
Right.
handing that little gift to you. So she,
Absolutely.
whoever, will be the fun aunt for the kids.
I love that. Hold on for just a moment. We'll be right back. I don't know about you, but I love being able to support queer business wherever possible. Here are 10 of the businesses I've connected with over the last couple of years. The first is Conscious Leadership Academy, and you can find them at lauriesolpizio.com, littlebondco.com, birthmarksupport.com, everydonation.com, fertilitylawcanada.com, understorycafe.com, heygaddies.com, gwkacademy.org, informedfertility.ca, and knifeyspoony.com. To learn more and visit these websites, check out the bottom of the show notes over all of the episodes in the coming weeks. But she didn't birth both the children.
Correct. So that was surrogate number one. And then surrogate number two was in Mexico. That was with a different agency. With her, we didn't have as close a relationship at the beginning, and I take it personal because I feel that it was our fault. And the
Right.
process of interviewing the agency, they asked us like privacy. It was a privacy question, and I don't know if it was a mistranslation in both ends. Even though I'm fluent in Spanish, the meetings were conducted in English because of my husband Gavin. And I think they asked a question like, "How do you want to do this?" And we decided to be more private. And with that, opened the door of the agency thinking that we didn't want to have a connection with the surrogate.
Right.
So we keep thinking here in the States, like, oh my God, it's so different than the one that we do here, because there you are in all the doctor's appointment and you're in all these fun, different things that you do. We go out for dinners and lunches and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
With the one in Mexico, we had emails he went there that will send. I will write them in Spanish because I knew that she spoke Spanish. My husband write it in English and they translated, and then the agency will send it to them. That's what we thought was the norm in Mexico.
Right. Okay.
Not knowing that we had a mistranslation, if we want to call it that way. And when our son was born, we go to Mexico. He was born way earlier than expected. So it was a crazy running. You have no idea the time because they call me. It's like, your son is about to come. And he was supposed to be on the 23rd of November. They schedule a C-section on the 11th, which is my lucky number. And I did not pick that number, even though everybody else that know me is like, yeah, you wanted that number. And he decided to come on the 4th. So we were planning to go to Mexico a week before the C-session. And we just dropped everything when they called us on the phone and said, your son is coming. So we went to Mexico, we met her, and she was surprised to see us, and I felt bad because she was surprised to see us. We were surprised to see her because since we had no communication,
Right.
we actually thought that she didn't want to have any type of communication with us. And
Okay.
then it was just like we fell in love right away. We started talking and mingling with each other, and time passed by, and then we realized that she didn't have any problem of meeting us. It was they told her that we didn't want any communication
Right.
because of privacy.
Right.
And now we do have a relationship with her. She's the older aunt. I actually was texting her this morning because we use a lot of we say I send pictures to them. They ask me how the kids are. So they're involved in the life, not necessarily in the house perhaps, but like they're involved in their growth. So yeah, and we have great relationship with both, and both of them share the same name, which you made it very interesting, and we didn't
Oh,
pick that either.
right. That's
Um,
wild.
yeah, when we saw we keep getting confused. We keep getting like all these doctors like bills, and it's like, oh, that's from surrogate one,
Right.
or surrogate. We didn't know which one this one came from,
Right.
and so yeah,
That
but that was fun.
is, yeah, that is fun. Oh my God. Now, so you have now still connections with both your surrogates. Do you have any kind of a
Correct.
connection with your egg donor?
With the egg donor is a silent,
It
so
is.
we she has come to Chicago officially 4 times because she came in to meet our doctor,
Right.
and then she came back again to do the egg retrieval.
Right.
And then she came back to do a second egg retrieval because we did twice
Right.
egg retrievals with her. So yeah, but we have never met. We do not know nothing else other than her genetics,
Right.
and we have seen pictures of her, but essentially that is pretty much it. Genetics, her education, and her health. But other
Right.
than that, we know nothing.
Right. Is it possible, like, if she wants to know more, can she, they have, is it possible for her to learn more? I guess, does she even find out that there's been successful live births thanks to her egg donation?
I believe we are in a registry that I think by law, if I'm not mistaken, Gavin is taking charge of everything that has to do
Sure.
with paperwork. But I think by law they can reach to us,
Right.
and by law we need to register our kids in this database, just in case we move to the state that she's from and she has a son or a daughter, and then they want to marry our kids, and they're going to
Right.
have kids. So there is that.
Yeah.
Other than that, I don't think she can, but I don't mind if in the future she reach to us
Hmm.
and meet the kids, or if she has kids of her own.
Yeah.
I'm not opposed to it,
Yeah.
but at the same time, like it becomes more tricky when it comes to that because it technically is the biologically
Right.
their mom, I guess.
Yeah.
Even though we having Gavin being a lawyer, he protected us in so many ways when it came to that,
Yeah.
which made the process more harder for me because I'm like, okay, why can't we just sign this paperwork and be finished?
Right.
We legally adopted them, even though they're biologically ours. And we did it in both. We did it in Mexico, we did it here. But I feel protected, at least in paper,
Yeah.
when it comes to all those legal terms.
So your eldest child was born in the US. So when
Hmm.
you went to Mexico, you were taking what, a 4-month-old with you to the US to,
It,
or to Mexico to attend the birth?
it's exactly how it happened. And I would never forget the morning of our son's birthday. I went to the doctor's appointment of my daughter here,
Hmm.
getting her 4 month shots and all the things that they do here with the doctors. And I remember talking to the doctor, and she was like, "Oh my God, I cannot believe in a couple of days you're going to be a parent of two." And only if she knew that the baby was waking up, that wanted to meet us soon. So we're flying to Mexico with a baby that just had her shots. She didn't have any necessarily side effects from the vaccine. Sometimes I know they get fevers,
Sure.
but that
Yeah.
was in the back of my head. And like, she's going to get a fever. She's going to get sick in the plane. And no, it was like she was a pure angel. She's a unicorn baby for sure.
Oh, I love that. I love
Yeah.
that. And it's neat that they get to grow up so intentionally close to one
Yeah.
another.
Yeah.
That's pretty special. So you're going to take a pause. You're just going to enjoy the two that you've got and try to get your bearings with parenting the two that you've got. And when you and I spoke before we recorded, you were indicating that maybe you had some plans for making some changes in your life in the not too distant future. Can you expand a little bit about that and what you're thinking of doing and why ultimately? Because
Yeah,
I think that's important.
yeah. Not getting too political, but the political climate lately has been very hostile to
Hmm.
the LGBT community.
Hmm.
So we are thinking to explore. We're not thinking. We're moving to Barcelona, Spain, God willing, sometime this year.
Hmm.
Um, because one, I have triple minority. I'm gay. I am brown, and I have kids.
Yeah.
With that said, those are some things that unfortunately right now could be hostile in some areas of the United States. Even though Chicago, I feel very safe in our city, and other than what you see in the news that is very dangerous, it's not. It's
Right.
just some pockets of the city.
Sure.
We decided just to do the venture of moving back to across the pond
Yeah.
to my native land, heritagely. My family moved from Spain to the Dominican Republic, and I guess I'm moving back
Yeah.
to where my grandparents came from.
That's amazing. Now, Gavin's a lawyer in the
Correct.
US. How will he be able to just work from abroad and still practice the type of
Correct.
law? I don't even know what kind of law he's in. It's really none of my business. But um, typically speaking, you kind of assume that you're going to be
And the
working in a
state,
field like that in
yeah,
the city or the state that you're actually licensed in. He can do that from abroad, though.
he can. He's licensed in two different states, in Illinois and California, which California is one of the hardest um, uh, bar exam to pass. And he was taking that exam when we were looking at egg donors. Imagine how stressful that moment
Wow.
was. It was like it was very intense because we needed to meet deadlines for the agency, but he also was going to school for that.
Hmm.
And he also is a privacy attorney. So he has certifications and all that. He will be able to work remotely. So it will be like contract work.
Hmm.
Or if there is a company in Spain that might be listening to this, I want to hire him
There you
that
go.
can work from the States in Spain, he will do that. But at the moment, most likely he will be going to the going through freelancing, like doing stuff from the States from there. That's
Okay.
what I think COVID brought a good thing in society,
Yep.
which is the only one. And it's like this, like we probably would not be able to do this before, or maybe we would have done it, but it opened the door for Zoom and to create this type of communication. And that also opened the door for people that doesn't have to necessarily be at the office.
Yes.
And that's the good thing about it, like
Yep.
working remotely.
100%. It does. It's funny. When I was a teenager, I spent time going to school in Europe on an exchange program, and this was, I'm embarrassed to say, almost 40 years ago. But at the time, my parents kind of put me on a plane and off I went. And I might have talked to them on the phone once while I was gone. We wrote letters, but other than that, it was just good luck. Hope it goes well. And now you're thinking about moving across the ocean to live in another country, but still work in the country you're leaving because
Mhm.
the things have just changed so incredibly. It's absolutely wild to me.
Yeah, and it's fascinating to think about that. Like you're able to, technology has brought so many great things for all of us, including me being able to have kids.
Hmm.
That it is beautiful to see
Yeah.
for
Oh,
sure.
it absolutely is. Any advice that you would give to people who are starting on their path of family creation? They're thinking about it, they're not even sure what their first steps are. Do you have any advice or wisdom for them and places that you think that they should spend their concentrated, focused hours of thinking?
So if you want to have a family, if anybody's listening that want to have a family, just do it. Don't think too much. The process is so long. That's why we signed up with two agencies, and everything takes time. It's not that you go to Louis Vuitton or Prada or whatever and purchase something. It takes time, money, and effort. And if you want to do it, get it done. Start looking locally where different agencies are,
Mhm.
nationally too. And don't close yourself just in your state and your city. Look at different countries. Like we had a great experience in Mexico. And I love to say now, like we have a Mexican son, so it's like opening the horizon, more passports in the family.
There you go.
Um, and so yeah, so do not waste time. Just do it if that's something that you want to do it. And also too, some if you are not in a relationship and you want to have kids, don't limit yourself of not doing it. It's not a requirement that you need to be with somebody. There is an influencer on YouTube that I keep seeing videos. He's a single dad. He's gay and single, and he's doing it and he's making it happen. And I think what a beautiful thing. Like I have a support of my husband, and I feel sometimes that you cannot do it all, but
Hmm.
if he's doing it, we all can do it. So don't waste your time. Just do it.
I love that. It is true. It feels daunting and overwhelming, but at the end of the day, the things that happen in our lives that I think are the most impactful are the ones that feel daunting and overwhelming and that we had to really give some time and thought and energy to. They didn't just fall in our lap.
Correct. And sometimes it takes you a little edge to do it. And I have a story that maybe we can talk about that later
Hmm.
with you, of a person that I knew that was in Pulse in the nightclub that
Oh
had
my
the
gosh.
horrible massacre. I used to live in Orlando, and he was there when that happened. He when he got out of that situation, or when he lived that moment, that trauma made him realize that he wanted to be parents. He
Hmm.
wanted to become a dad, and he did the impossible. He is a single dad raising two kids now,
Wow.
and that was the edge that he needed. He knew that he wanted to be a father,
Hmm.
and he didn't waste any time. Which that's why I thought of that. He did not waste any time on making that happen.
Right.
So he inspired me in many ways to not waste more time.
Yeah. Yeah. And that it's you'll know in your heart when when the time is right. And as you say, for him, he wasted no time because he realized how valuable life is and how
Correct.
short it can be. So just jump in and do the things, right?
Correct.
Yeah. I am so honored to be able to have you share your story and talk about the way you've created your family. I mean, one of the gifts of being a queer parent or a queer individual creating a family is that you get to do it in such wonderful and unique ways because there's not a lot of kids that are going to grow up that are twins that are 4 months apart or right. It
Mhm.
just doesn't happen. So it's kind of that's really it's incredible and I love it so much. I
I, li-
just
I
am so
like
grateful.
I like to call them jazz babies since we're in the jazz city here in
Right.
Chicago,
Yeah,
and jazz is happy, and we're queer is also like happy. So it's like
sure.
little jazz babies,
There you go.
always
That's
musical.
fantastic. I love that. Before I let you go and get on with your day, would you please take a moment and tell everybody what are your very, very favorite parts of parenting your two children? And I get that they're still wee, but they still bring a lot of joy to your life. So, what are your favorite parts?
I think when you see them develop, I know that that's something that we take for granted right now, that we can talk or that we can move our fingers. But recently, my daughter, that is 9 months, she started playing intentionally with toys. Like
Ah,
she knows that there is a reaction. We don't have any old crazy toys that make all these noises and all this stuff. Everything is very intentional.
yeah,
And she started being intentional with her toys. She knows that if she does this, it created a reaction. And that to me is just fantastic. And also she saw my fingers. So I have my wedding bands, and she saw it. And then she looked at her hand. And in my mind, I think she was looking, it was like, well, I don't have that,
right.
the rings I'm referring to. And she started moving her fingers, and then she started like doing that. So that was very precious. I know it sounds so small, but to me it was like, wow,
Yeah,
she came from a small little cell, a little sperm, and now she is a person that is thinking. Because to me, that's thinking. She's seeing her
sure.
hands, she's seeing my hand. Why, you know?
Yeah.
So that was very precious. And then with our son, like when he looks at you, he smiles, and he has a very quirky thing. Sometimes when he smiles, he kind of shy and he just like smile again and then he goes down.
Yeah.
Uh that is so precious. And that
Yeah.
is those moments that I wish they don't end.
Hmm.
Um and when they fell and sleep on top of you, like that is a
Oh,
sensation that my daughter's already, she's very independent and she has always been. She was born a big girl. And she doesn't sleep on top of me anymore, but my son is still in the phase that he still is
mm,
comfortable sleeping on top of you.
yeah.
And that is a feeling that I don't know how to describe it. It's just one of the most beautiful feelings ever. And I miss that. And I know it's going to change because I know he's going to be like, I'm not going to sleep on top of my dad like you.
Yeah.
But now I'm just enjoying those precious moments.
No. And that's all you can do is savor those
Mhm.
moments because they will ebb and flow and change and grow. But it is that, oh, you say that, and I still remember my kids being small enough to sleep on my chest, and that's been more than 2 decades since that happened. But you never, there's never another feeling that's quite like it. Maybe
Yeah.
grandparenthood, I don't know. I'm closer to that than I am new baby. So who knows? Who knows?
I think it's precious. And to the phrase that they grow really fast,
Hmm.
people always say that you hear it, but then you don't know until you're doing it. They
Hmm.
really grow so fast.
They do.
Because I remember when she was just a little sack of potato that not move, and now she's looking at her hands and thinking.
Yeah.
So that was yesterday. Like
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, so they grow fast and enjoying every single moment of it is precious.
I
So
love that.
that's what brings me joy of being a parent.
That's pretty amazing. And that's the perfect way to sum up the conversation that we've had. I want to take a moment. Thank you so much for sharing your story with me, with my listeners, for letting people know maybe just think outside the box about how you decide you want to create your family and jump in with 2 feet. If it's what you want to do, do it. You've offered some beautiful wisdom, and I'm so grateful to have you here. Thank you.
No, my pleasure. And thank you so much for everybody that is listening. And I know the water of the pool is very cold, but the moment that you jump in there, it warms up. I don't know if you have, I don't know if you know what I meant, what I'm trying
Yep.
to say.
Yes.
Just do it, guys. And it's beautiful. You guys are going to have a great time.
It'll take your breath away, but in the
Yeah,
best possible way.
exactly.
As a queer individual with colonial lineage, I want to first acknowledge the land upon which I live and work. Being from what is now known as Burlington, Ontario, I recognize the original ancestry of these lands as they span from Lake Ontario to the Niagara Escarpment and beyond. These lands are steeped in Indigenous history that benefits my community every day. The territory is mutually covered by the Dish with One Spoon Wampum Belt Covenant, an agreement between the Iroquois Confederacy, the Ojibwe, and other allied nations to peaceably share and care for the resources around the Great Lakes. I would like to acknowledge that the land on which I stand is part of the treaty lands and territory of the Mississaugas of the Credit. The land dictates everything about our ways of being. Particularly, the land teaches us about fluidity. Concepts of the binary system and heteropatriarchy were imposed by the colonials who were, at the same time, removing children from their homes, families, and all that was familiar to them. These same children were divided by the only two prescribed binaries recognized by the settlers, and they were forced to conform to a performative, gendered falsehood. The land doesn't operate under binary thinking. It is diverse, complex, and unpredictable at times. Rather, the land holds us and all of our remarkable paths and identities. Every organism and spirit has a purpose. It is from this understanding that I strive to live and grow. Thank you for joining me today on the Becoming Baby Ready podcast. If you have a story that you'd like to share, or you know someone who might, if you're a professional who works in the capacity of helping people start and grow their families, and you identify as being a part of the 2S LGBTQIA plus community yourself, then please don't hesitate to reach out. We always have room for more stories to share, and there's always more learning to do.